Hello, I'm Jenna Weissman Joselit, the Charles E. Smith Professor of Judaic Studies and History at the George Washington University. I'm delighted to welcome you to the oldest synagogue building in all of Greater Washington. The very first home of Congregation Adas Israel, this structure dates back to 1876, a time when the nation's capital city was just beginning to come into its own, a time when red brick in the Romanesque revival style, rather than classical white limestone, rendered a building important. So, too, did the people who came its way, people such as Ulysses S. Grant, then President of the United States. Not only did Grant attend the dedication ceremony of this building, in fact, he stayed for the entire program, which lasted well over 3 hours. But he also contributed the then generous sum of $10 to the synagogue's treasury. Imagine that. Still, it wasn't too long before the congregation, then housed at 6th and G, moved to bigger and better quarters at 6th and I. By 1910, the building, with its abundant light and clean lines, was no longer a synagogue, but a church. Or, more to the point, a succession of churches. First, St. Sophia, a Greek Orthodox house of worship, then a Pentecostal group known as Bible Hall, which was followed in turn by the Good Samaritan Chapel and the Mission of Light Church. Eventually, in the wake of changing demographics and interests, the building lost all connection to the divine and became instead a grocery store whose stock and trade featured barbecued pork products. History is funny that way. The process of change erases identities, subverts traditions, and toys with our memories, so much so that for over half a century, this little synagogue was hiding in plain sight. Few Washington Jews even knew of its existence. Discovered by accident, and in the nick of time, too, it just about managed to escape the wrecker's ball as preparations for DC's new metro system were set in motion. A group of concerned citizens, working in concert with a dizzying array of government agencies, persuaded the powers that be that this late 19th century structure was well worth preserving, even if it had to be relocated to another site. And so, on a wintry day in 1969, the building experienced a latter-day exodus all its very own, making its way slowly from its original location to its current home, a few blocks and a world away. Now, flanked by a fast-moving highway on one end and a series of nondescript office buildings on the other, this little brick building, today home to the Lillian and Albert Small Jewish Museum, sticks out like the proverbial sore thumb. And yet, its very incongruity is central to its allure, a telltale and heartening reminder that the modern-day metropolis is not just a deliberate composition of glass and steel, but also the sum of the serendipitous and the unexpected. To put it another way, there's something otherworldly about this place that makes it so very resonant, so very special. The building's unlikely persistence over time and space offers an unusual coda to the modern Jewish experience, much of which has taken shape around the harsh realities of displacement and loss. But this gift of a building from 1876 has held on and survived, often against great odds, to tell the tale of how Jewish life unfolded in the nation's capital.